You're looking for the best way to build your squad in Hockey Ultimate Team in NHL 25, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the best and most effective way to start your grind in this year's game. So once you have decided on your team name, it's time to open up your starter pack. Now, when you first fired up NHL 25, it will give you the jerseys as well as a whole slew of players from your favorite team. There's no advantage here, so just pick your favorite team, and then it's time to fly through all of your base cards that you're going to get for your squad. You will also receive a base X-factor for your team, one of 8 at launch of the game, and you will also receive a power-up icon as well. You're going to get a coach, as well as some other vanity items, and then finally a power-up icon token. So once you finish completing your team, you will end up at the Hut Hub. This is the main menu of Hockey Ultimate Team. It is a little bit more updated from years past. The first thing that we're going to check out are the objectives. Now, at the time of release, you will see the Welcome to Hut objective path that will have you doing a few various things like get some assists with any player in any mode, face-off wins, all very basic stuff. You'll also get early access. Now, this is more than likely going to disappear once early access ends, but it will be replaced with whatever event is currently out. And again, same situation, you are going to earn content that is more specific to that event. Finally, we've got the daily objectives, and these are actually important in NHL 25 because it is the only way currently to acquire daily hat trick collectibles. More on that in just a little bit. The final main objective paths that you see here are weekly objectives, and again, these are actually worth completing now because they give you a significant amount of XP towards the unified XP path. These are more than likely going to take you a little bit longer to bang out. They also have daily rewards to kind of lock you into just flying through them immediately, but you've got a week to complete them. It does look like the weekly objective path will reset on Thursdays. You've got milestones. Again, these will be cumulative and they will take you quite some time, and they will offer various amounts of coins. But the ones I want to focus on right now, immediately when you start your team, are in the power-up icon and X-factor objective paths, specifically the Perform Deke objectives. Because if you take a look, there is 10 different tiers, all giving you 2,500 coins each, and they are extremely easy to finish. By completing both of these, you will basically start your Hut team with 50,000 coins, so let's get after it. Now, before we do anything, the first thing that you want to do is go over to your edit lineup screen and find your power-up icon. You'll notice that in your starter pack, you received a free icon token. What these are used for are simply upgrading your power-up icons in NHL 25. Now, anytime that you've got a upgrade tier that only costs 1 token, it doesn't matter if it's for X-factors, power-up icons, event items, whatever. Anytime that it costs 1, you can feel free to rent the upgrade if you want, because if you ever decide to change your mind in terms of upgrading player items, you can refund that tier. Now, it will give you half of what you put in back. So if you went with coins in this instance, you would net 5,000 coins when you refunded. But since you can't cut a token in half, you will get back that full token when you go to refund it. All you've got to do is back out of the edit lineup screen, go to your item inbox, send that token back to your collection, and then you can use it on whatever you want to upgrade. Again, you don't need to have a fear of losing it. This will work for any of the cards that upgrade, and it only costing 1 of that item. Once you've upgraded your power-up icon, it's time to head into squad battles. We are going to tackle the Dekes and completing all of those objectives for the power-up icons and X-factors as fast as possible. Now, with the massive change to squad battles, you don't have to worry about not getting a perfect score in squad battles. As you can see, I've got 804 games available to me, and that is because there are no weekly rewards anymore. So you don't have to play squad battles at all, or if you want, you can use them simply just for objectives, like myself. So for this example, to complete the Dekes, you want to choose just the lowest overall available to you, select the rookie difficulty and 4-minute periods to give yourself as much time as possible, and then we're right back to behind the net. Now, I'm just showing you the fastest way to complete this. If you don't want to do dumb things like this, I don't blame you at all, but all you've got to do is just kind of find a soft spot behind the net, and then you start doing toe drags back and forth. If you don't know how to do a toe drag in NHL 25, you essentially go from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock on the right thumbstick, and you just go back and forth behind the net in the offensive zone. As you can see, I'm simply doing this with Lucas Raymond, and I'm completing the Deke objective extremely fast. So all you've got to do is sit there for as long as it takes, and you will get all of the Deke objectives done with the X-factors or power-up icons. Now, if you pause the game, you can check your progress by going down to the Objectives tab in the pause menu, find the one you are looking for. So in this instance, the X-factor, perform Deke's objective path, and as you can see, it shows that I've completed them all. So now I know that I can move on to the power-up icon Deke objective path. So it's time for Ray Bork to get behind the net. Now, if you are having a hard time with getting behind the net and doing the deke of just going back and forth on the right thumbstick, you can also do this in the offensive zone by just circling the outside. You just have to be in the offensive zone near a defending player, and it will trigger a deke for you. This is a much slower way to do it because obviously you're not just going back and forth immediately. But for anyone that does struggle with getting behind the net to do it, you can just do it this way. It'll take you maybe an extra game. But as you can see, after one game of squad battles on rookie 4-minute periods, I was able to complete the entire X-factor perform deke path, net myself 25,000 coins, and now it's time to hop right back into squad battles again so that I can complete the dekes for the power-up icons. Now, if you do play multiple games and you do finish like I did here, what I'd recommend is take a look at any of the other objectives, especially from the Welcome to Hut path or anything like that are very, very simple. Like, for example, score a couple one-timer goals with any player. You can get that done very easily. That way you're not wasting any time once you have completed the other deke objectives. So I went ahead and finished some other various objectives that were very easy to complete. That way just kind of maxing out the time I've got available here. So as you can see, I've finished 2 games in squad battles, and I've completed all of the deking objectives for the power-up icons and X-factor, so now it's time to go get our coins. So we'll head on over to objectives. And not only did we finish the deking objectives for the power-up icons and X-factors, but we've also finished a whole slew of other ones like Welcome to Hut, a bunch of early access, the dailies, as well as one of the weeklies. So we'll head on over to the power-up icons. We will collect all of our rewards, including the icon token and another 25,000 coins. And as you can see, we're now sitting at just under 52,000 coins after 2 squad battles games. Now let's also go ahead and finish off the objectives for Welcome to Hut. Again, I didn't do anything special in squad battles. I legitimately just deked around the net for 2 full games and did the small amount of other things needed to finish all of these. So we'll collect all of these rewards, getting the Welcome to Hut pack. Now, at the time of this recording, it is during early access. If you were starting the game, obviously after early access, you were not going to have this objective path, but any of the events that are currently out will be replaced here, and you will have a new event list of objectives that will have you completing various things to get specific event cards and things like that throughout the year, which is also why you should subscribe to the channel so that you know exactly how to do all of the current objectives and other content that is released. So we'll go ahead and collect the ones that we finished here, and then finish off our daily objectives. Now, daily objectives actually do have quite a bit of value in NHL 25, as opposed to the prior games where you were just getting a collectible that would work towards a future reward. As it currently stands, the daily hat trick collectible is only available by doing the few daily objectives, and as you can see, they will reset every 24 hours. Now, why these are important is because this is how you upgrade your daily hat trick player items. In NHL 25, you've got a choice pack of Robin Lehner, Shea Weber, and Logan Couture, and they will upgrade throughout the year, all the way through the cycle to NHL 26, and you do so by trading in daily hat trick collectibles. And at a certain point, they will switch over to master set card art, again, after a few upgrades have taken place. Now, taking a look at the daily hat trick card options, there are 3, starting with Logan Couture, and as you can see, he is an upgradable card. Going to tier 2 will cost you 20 daily hat trick collectibles, and that will boost him to an 83 overall. As it stands right now, the only way to acquire the daily hat trick collectibles is by completing the daily objectives. They are very simple to complete. However, you're obviously going to have to put a focus on it because 20 days is quite a long time for one upgrade. That said, this is replacing the 99 overall XP cards from NHL 24, and I think this is a welcome change because these cards you can use in your lineup right now and all the way throughout the year, as opposed to NHL 24, where you had to wait until the summer months, essentially, to use the 99 overall that you've been saving up all of the collectibles for. Now, when it comes to those 3 hat trick players, you've got Logan Couture, you've also got Robin Lehner at 82 overall, and finally, Shea Weber, who is always a popular choice among Hockey Ultimate Team players, just given his size and shot. So the next thing I would focus on when starting your Hockey Ultimate Team is grabbing your daily hat trick player. Now to do so, let's head on over to Hut Moments. And as you can see, you've got 4 tiers of Hut Moments at the current time of this recording. Again, this is an early access, but where you want to go for the daily hat trick card is in the tutorial moments. So we click on Rick Tockett here, and as you can see, you've got a whole slew of moments to complete. These are very easy for even the newest of players to the game. But as you can see, when you get down to the final tutorial moment, you will see that the rewards are a daily hat trick choice pack. And it is indicated here that it is B and D. New to NHL 25 is account-bound player items. That means that if you have a card that is listed as B and D, you cannot use them in sets or post them in the auction house. They are essentially just cards that will stay in your collection that you can use to play with. Other than that, they are just, again, in your collection. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly through these tutorial moments and grab our daily hat trick player. Now, for the moment, it will, again, have a specific objective for you to complete. These ones are very simple. So this first one is to simply just complete 3 passes, and then the moment will be finished. As you can see, after 3 quick passes, it's finished. Now, to end the moment, all you've got to do is take a face-off. So we'll dump the puck out, get a face-off, and once you've completed all the objectives, you will get the exit and claim reward screen. This will only pop up once all of the objectives are complete for the specific moment you were doing, and you get a face-off. It'll happen at the next whistle, which is why I just dumped the puck out of play. Goalie stoppage, whatever, will work just the same. So we'll exit and claim rewards, and we'll hop back out, finish off that first one, get a bronze coach random choice pack, and we'll hop out of moments. Once you're back in the tutorial moments menu, again, we are just flying through all of these to get our daily hat trick choice pack. Something to note as well in NHL 25 is that in moments, you can actually work towards objectives as well. In prior years, you could not do objectives in live moments, but that's changed this year. So if you are using your own team and you score with, let's say, your X-factor card, it will count towards your X-factor goals objectives. Not a big deal, but again, if you are just trying to min-max your time, keep that in mind. So once you've completed those prior 6 tutorials, you'll unlock the final tutorial moment. We just got to score 2 goals with any player on rookie. Now, I do want to mention when it comes to scoring goals, regardless of the difficulty you've chosen, for whatever reason, this was introduced in NHL 24, but regardless if you're on Rookie or Superstar, the goaltender difficulty is set to All-Star. The philosophy here was, if you were a newer player and you're playing on Rookie, once you figured out how to beat the goaltender, no matter the difficulty, you'd be able to do it, as you climbed the ranks offline or online. I personally absolutely hate this because I think it drives away brand new players, because the game already has some difficult mechanics when it comes to skating and shooting, and now you've got to try and score, regardless of the difficulty, against an all-star level rated goaltender. Nonetheless, we've completed our 2 goals, got it finished with Ray Bourque, and now let's go collect our daily hat trick player. So once you're back to the main menu, let's head on over to the store tab and then click on your unopened packs. As you can see, I've got a ton of packs from the XP path, and as well as completing the other various moments, but the one that we're really looking for here is the daily hat trick pack, because we need to select one of the 82 overall player items. Now, these are account bound, and at the current time of this recording, there is no trade-in, so you kind of have to make a decision as to what card you want to use for the majority of your time playing Hockey Ultimate Team. From my understanding, these cards will unlock upgrade tiers around the timing of every event jumping in overalls. So this first one is going to take you 20 days of completing the daily objectives to get enough collectibles to upgrade the first tier, but you won't see 84 until you see a jump in overalls from a newer event. So these cards aren't meant to be super powered the whole way through. For anyone that is playing no money spent, or you're just a very casual player in Hockey Ultimate Team, these cards will probably remain on your team the whole year, and again, you can just slowly upgrade them. For anyone that's got a God Squad, I would hazard a guess that maybe they're on your team for the very beginning, but if you're pumping money into your team, you probably won't ever hit a point that these cards are going to be great for you until they hit 99, if they ever do. The last thing I will state here before making your choice, please, for the love of God, select your favorite player. Forget about what is the absolute meta god tiered card it is not going to make or break your experience in Hockey Ultimate Team, and when you score and perform well with your favorite players, your experience in this game is going to be far better. However, if you don't have a horse in the race, let's go over the options. Now, Shea Weber, obviously the first thing that you're going to look at is his skating being in the dumpster. 81 speed and acceleration, even with the massive reduction in overalls, is extremely hard to use because it basically means if you lose the puck in the offensive zone, if you aren't immediately out of there, you're going to get absolutely torched down the wings if you're using the Shea Weber. He needs to be paired with a left-handed defenseman that is very fast. That being said, at least early on at the launch of NHL 25, one-timers are just going in. So you've got a guy here with Gold 1T that's going to make it even better. Skill-based one-timers are super effective early on in this game. He also comes with two-way defenseman, which will help out his defensive awareness. In my opinion, it is one of the better synergies, especially among defensemen, because all of the attributes that it impacts are important in the game. Defensive awareness especially, as that will dictate how well your players will actually intercept passes. For defensemen, that's obviously important. Next up, we've got Robin Lehner. Now, when it comes to goalies, if you've been watching my channel for years, they do not matter. Every once in a while, they might make a save that might lead to you winning a game, but more often than not, how you play defense and the game in general is going to dictate if a goaltender is good for you. That being said, at 6'4", he's got enough size to be effective in NHL 25. He also has no timer, and while we don't have enough evidence so far early on in the year, this could be one of the best goalie abilities simply because one-timers are going to be extremely prevalent all the way throughout the year with skill-based one-timers being added to the game. The other benefit of choosing Robin Lehner is that, well, Couture and Shea Weber, they might not be on your team the whole year because you might unlock and use players and acquire players that are going to be higher rated, and these upgrade tiers might unlock quickly enough for you to have these players on your team. You can essentially set it and forget it with Robin Lehner because he's going to be a fine goaltender just based on his size alone. Lastly, we've got my guy Logan Couture. 85 speed and acceleration is usable at launch. Again, reduction in attributes means that lower attributes are more effective. That is fine skating at launch of the game. Over 80 shooting, hand stats in the mid-80s, as well as a very good face-off rating for launch of NHL 25 at 83 overall. Playmaking forward is actually a pretty good synergy because it will boost your agility, which is an important attribute. He does come with Born Leader, and Born Leader, after receiving a buff in NHL 24, will give you a big energy boost if your player scores, but more importantly, you'll get a moderate boost when they get big hits and block shots, which just adds to the ability. It's not make or break, and especially with the ability point cost, you might not even activate it depending on where he is in your lineup. So, if you are thinking long-term end game, I would probably go with Shea Weber because at 99, he is going to be the best. If you are someone that is going to have a God squad, you spent money on the game, or you play an excessive amount, I'd probably go Robin Lehner. Again, set it and forget. You don't have to worry about your goaltender for majority of the year. Lastly, if you want the best player now, I kind of think that might be Logan Couture. Finding a player that has good face-off rating and decent skating, I think he might be the play. But, like I mentioned earlier, choose your favorite players. So, Logan Couture, welcome to the squad. Now, if it hasn't been completed yet, we need to unlock the auction house. And to do so, we've got to complete all the training camp objectives and claim the rewards to access it. So, head back over to objectives, slide on over to training camp. As you can see, we've finished the 3 hut moments required, but now we've still got to win 3 games in Rivals, Hut Champs, or Squad Battles. We've got to win a game in Wild Card, as well as completing 1 set. Let's touch on sets first. We'll head on over to the exchange sets. Now, player overalls and the values of trade-ins have dramatically changed in NHL 25. However, there is one that you can essentially automatically do. So if you head on over to the player exchanges, you will see a random 70 to 71 overall player item by exchanging 60 plus overall players. You'll need 4 60 and above items. So go ahead and throw any bronze players that you've got in your collection into this set. They don't offer any other value. So we'll go ahead and finish that. Lastly, we've got to win 1 more Rivals, Hut Champs, or Squad Battles game, as well as Wild Card. Let's go ahead and take care of that last game. We'll head back on over to Squad Battles and finish that one up quickly. Now, you can obviously work towards any other objectives. Take your time. But remember, there is a big change in NHL 25 where there is not any weekly Squad Battles rewards. As you can see, I've got 802 games available. You don't need to worry about burning through some of your squad battle games just to get wins and sacrificing some points because you do not receive weekly squad battle rewards anymore. You don't have to play squad battles at all. It's still something I would recommend when it comes to just completing something extremely fast when it comes to objectives. So for this one, because we just need one win, we'll set it on rookie, 2-minute periods, score a quick little goal, and because I don't really feel like playing squad battles right now, we'll find a soft spot and we'll just chill. This is why I love the change to the unified XP path, simply because I don't have to play squad battles anymore other than completing some various objectives every once in a while, but my main source of rewards and how I play the game, I'm just going to be playing online. So with that done, we've just got to win one game in Hut Wildcard. So now it's time to try out the new Hut mode. Now, the big advantage to the new Wildcard mode is that it also has its own reward path. Now, this is just for the early access, but new seasons will come when the game is launched fully. As you can see, you will earn various packs as well as coins all the way through, including guaranteed items like this 80 Anton Lundell, Sean Dursey, as well as a X-Factor Series 1 player choice pack, which is obviously a card that we want to acquire because it is free and it's going to help us out in the long run. But for now, we just need one win to unlock the auction house. Now, if you want to know how the ins and outs of Wildcard works, you can go watch my full breakdown video of Hockey Ultimate Team. But I do need to point out that you will not be working towards objectives in Wildcard unless it is specifically stating you can play in Wildcard. So things like hits, goals, and deeks with X Factors or power-up icons, you won't be working towards that in Wildcard. We've just got to win one game in Hut Wildcard, but before I would do this, I would recommend opening all of the packs that you've earned so far. So we'll head on over to Unopened Packs, and we'll go ahead and rip these. Again, we're not getting anything huge, but the reason why I'd recommend doing this is because you might randomly pull something of value that could make your team. For example, this Brendan Hagel card is actually really good. 6'2", 87 speed, excel, and agility. Also has playmaking forward. Absolutely love that. Now, when it comes to the overalls of cards and what you're looking for, a 77 and above NHL player item is essentially the best type of card to pull because it will work towards team builders as well as X Factors and power-up icons. It hits all three. So anytime that you've got 77 and above players, you want the base NHL player items. We also get base Alexis Lafreniere. We'll take that. Again, early on, any 80 and above player item is going to make your team. So now that we've opened all our packs, let's go ahead and draft our first wildcard team. We've got some options here. We'll take a look at our first wildcard. We've got 3 wildcard options. Number 1, let's throw the daily hat trick Logan Couture in there for $3 million. We'll also go with Lucas Raymond as well as Ray Bourque. Now, when it comes to drafting your team, especially in early access, just pay attention to their speed and acceleration. That's really going to give you the biggest advantage. Everyone's shot is pretty low. So we'll go with JJ Peterka there. We'll select Brendan Duhaime, Eric Holla. Now the team is finished, we'll go ahead and register it. Now, once you're back in the wildcard menu, you can go ahead and edit your lines. Lucas Raymond on his offhand for one-timers. And we'll do the same with the number 1 D pair. Now, if you want the ins and outs of Hut Wildcard, again, like I mentioned, go watch my complete guide video. For every win, you will essentially earn points for your wildcard climb. If you get a loss, you will earn points equal to half of whatever the difficulty you're choosing. We're going to try our luck at playing someone online. Now, after playing a game for a little while, it does feel like they are trying to have you cycle the puck more and look for one-timers, obviously with skill-based one-timers being added. Although early on, at least, it does appear that those are a little too impactful, maybe, especially from further out. But maybe once goalie attributes increase a little bit, it'll help with it. But while you're playing online, at least, one-timers appear to be the thing that you're looking for. So with that win, you get the max amount of wildcard points you can get, whether it's online or offline, and that's 100. Again, if you were to lose an online game, you only get 50. To put that in perspective, if you play offline on Superstar, winning the game will get you 60, losing will get you 30. Even if you are not a good online player, I would still recommend trying to play wildcard online. Now that we've got our one win in wildcard, we can go ahead and complete the training camp objectives, getting our 1,000 coins, our random 77 overall player, as well as the auction house. So as you can see, the auction house is now up and running, and we can go ahead and buy and sell whatever cards that we want. And because we've already finished off a bunch of objectives like the Deeks, we've got quite a bit of coins to work with to start your team. So now let's talk about what to do with all of the cards that we acquire. It really boils down to three things depending on what you want to chase, and that is X-factors, power-up icons, as well as team builders. Now, team builder items are among the best in the game currently. If you are brand new to Hockey Ultimate Team, how they work is essentially you will trade in 6 of the 83 overall team builder cards, and you will be able to acquire one of the 86 overall team building cards. Later on in the year, there will be new team builders that come out, and if they work anything like in years past, they will be a higher overall, and they will require 2 of the 86 overall items to get whatever the next overall increase is. That said, if you want to complete an 83 overall team builder item, you need to acquire 77 and above overall NHL team items to get that team's 83 overall team builder. These are essentially the most important cards currently because 77 and above items can work for X-factors as well as power-up icons. We'll touch on those in a second, but more importantly, they're the only things that are available for team builders. Now, because they are the only thing that work towards team builders, they are going for an excessive price. Again, this is at launch of the game. To put it in perspective, you will need 16 from whatever team you are trying to complete to be able to make an 83. You need 6 of them to make a team builder. So let's say, for example, at 3,000 coins, you will need 16 items. That's 48,000 coins per 83 overall item. You need 6 of those. You're looking at 288,000 if 77 and above items are acquired at 3,000 coins per card. What I would recommend doing is as you open up packs and acquire players, I would throw any of your NHL items that are 77 and above into these sets and slowly work towards making team builders if you are going to play for a majority of the year. If you are just going to play Hockey Ultimate Team for the first month or two, I wouldn't recommend investing in team builders. What I would do is sell every card that I could to get as many coins to buy and play with whatever cards you want specifically. Team builders are a long game, and they are usually the best cards when they get released, but obviously everyone is going to chase after them. Now, next up, we've got power-up icons. And as you can see, they are broken down into vintage and modern power-up icons. To make one of the hologram cards, you will need 24 players that are 76 and above, and they can be anything. They don't have to be NHL players. They can be alumni. They can be international player items. It does not matter. Now, these cards are as well going for roughly 3,000 coins. Again, this is all subject to change. This is during early access, so it might be funny to look back if you were watching this later on in the year. But at 3,000 coins per item, you'll need 24 of them, which equals out to about 72,000 coins for a base power-up icon. You need 12 of them to get a hologram. That's 864,000 coins if they are going at 3,000 per. And lastly, we've got the X-factor sets. The base card needed to get entry into the X-factor sets is 75 and above. Now, again, these can be any items. They don't need to be NHL players or anything like that. But if they are going for the going rate currently, which is 2,500 coins, you would need to do that set 8 times to complete a captain card, which is 760,000 coins. And you would need to do that 4 times to acquire Connor McDavid's supercharged card, or just over 3 million coins. Again, this is all during early access, so it'll be fun to look back because there will be a major market shift. Just crazy prices, however. So what I would recommend if you are going to play the long game, I would slowly add to each of these sets. If you get a 77 and above NHL player item that is below 81 overall, I would throw them into this set. Slowly work towards team builders. Anytime that you get a 76 and above player item, regardless of what it is, I would throw that into the icon sets. And then the ultimate chase is honestly Connor McDavid. Now, it is going to take an excessive amount of time if you are no money spent. Again, you are going to have to be the one to judge if you are going to play enough to ever come close to the supercharged X factors. Again, just based on the values we've laid out. So with that being said, if you are watching this during early access, I would definitely finish any of the timed content that is currently out. Regardless if you're watching this at launch of the year or later on, if there is a timed event, especially in Wildcard, I would complete it because you will get the limited rewards that will reset when a new Wildcard event comes out. Completing this XP path will also work towards the overall unified XP path, so you are essentially double dipping in rewards. For example, early access, I would now go and start working towards the wildcard climb so that you can get your next X-Factor item. The reason why that's important is because you've essentially saved yourself 95,000 coins at the going market rate to make one of the base X-Factor player items. On top of that, if you finish the wildcard climb path, you will get the 80 overall Sean Dursey and Anton Lundell. And if you pre-ordered the game, you will have an 84 overall item that you've gotten from one of those packs. If you are someone that started this game and you are maybe using EA Play to access this specific set, you won't be able to complete it to get the 84 overall wildcard Wyatt Johnston. If you have pre-ordered the game and you have access to the 84 overall choice pack, I would do this set. You will get Dursey, Lundell, and whatever the 84 overall item is back. It will be account bound, meaning that you won't be able to trade them in, but you will be able to use them in your lineup on top of getting the 84 wildcard Wyatt Johnston. Now, when it comes to player sets, as these are going to be something you want to focus on, I'm wondering if these will adjust over throughout the year, but because those 75 and above overall items are so important for X-Factors, power-up icons, and team builders, you definitely want to be working towards upgrading your collection as much as possible. So, for example, I would be doing these sets over and over again just to clear out any of the bronze cards that I have. You will not be using them in game. If you want to sell them on the auction house to make some extra coins, go ahead. But I would recommend just continually doing this set over and over again as many times as you can. That way you are working towards upgrading your collection and slowly working towards the power-up icons or X-Factors or team builders. Following the completion of Hut Wildcard, the next thing I would do is head back in to Hut Moments, and I would then complete the hologram moments. The hologram moments are going to be a little bit more difficult than the tutorial ones, but there is 2 sets of cards that you can unlock here. The first one being a vintage icon player choice pack once you complete the 5 goals 5 different ways with Mario Lemieux. And down at the bottom, the final moment will net you a modern icon player choice pack. Again, just saving you a cost off the top as you work towards a power-up hologram item. Something to note about the power-up icon hologram cards is that, again, they will upgrade throughout the year. They will not receive a +1 every month. They will simply unlock a tier every time a higher rated version of that player is released throughout the year in a different card form. That said, the hologram power-up icons all come with 0 cost abilities. That is right, all of their zone abilities cost 0 points, which is a massive advantage early on, and they are all extremely well statted for launch of the game, or really the first card to chase after. They offer some safety because as you go ahead and progress throughout the year, you can upgrade them with icon tokens, but again, there's no guarantee when they will receive an upgrade, but know that they will at some point. When it comes to the first ones to chase after, you can go ahead and take a look at my power-up icon breakdown video, and that'll walk you through all of these cards. The other big added benefit of completing those moments and getting more power-up icons for your team is that you can essentially rent an upgrade tier. Like I mentioned earlier with Ray Bork, when it only costs 1 icon or X-Factor token to upgrade the player, if you refund it, you will get that token back. Once you hit 2 or 3 and above, you will only get half of the value back. Never do these with coins. Now, once you've completed the hologram moments, you guessed it, you want to complete the X-Factor moments. Again, these will be a little bit more difficult than the tutorial moments that you've completed earlier, but nonetheless, at the end, you will get an X-Factor Series 1 player choice pack, and it's just going to save you an exceptional amount of coins because you will have to make 1 less X-Factor item as you work towards Connor McDavid or even just a Captain's X-Factor. Once you have completed those 2 moment paths, you will have multiple X-Factors and multiple power-up icons. In total, if you complete Wildcard, you will have 3 X-Factors on your team. If you complete the first Unified XP path during Early Access, you will have 4 power-up icons that you can use towards your squad. Once you have all of that, that is when I would start working towards hits and goals. And for this, again, what I would do, if you really want to min-max and burn through this, get as many coins as possible, I would do this on squad battles on rookie with 4-minute periods. Remember, each one of these objective paths will give you 25,000 coins. meaning that after you've completed the deeks, you've got another 100,000 coins in hits and goals that you can do with all of those X-Factor and power-up icon players in your lineup. Once you have done that, you're free. The great thing about NHL 25 is that, again, because of how the reward system works, you can play however you want. If you are an offline player and you don't want to play online, go ahead and play squad battles as much as you want, or wildcard offline if you want. If you're an only online player, like myself for the most part, I'll stick to rivals or wildcard and play that online and work towards more XP for that unified XP path. Again, regardless of the time of the year, the format still stays the same when it comes to starting your team. If you want to know all the way throughout the year the best cards to target and go after and what modes to play, make sure you subscribe and I'll take care of you. Good luck starting your team in NHL 25. I'll see you next time.